sitting in a dark room. Another week. We are here with Sean Peel. And I got to start out by saying, every time I think of your name, I'm like freaking out, going like, don't say Sean Paul. Don't say Sean Paul. He's a great artist.
Sean Paul, he was the greatest rub-a-dub.
Rub-a-dub?
Right?
Is that a thing?
I have no idea.
He's like dance hall, right?
Dance hall, reggae,
Rub-a-dub. It's dub.
Rub-a-dub is a thing.
No,
I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah.
Google it, dude. I'm pretty sure it's a thing.
Okay.
I may have made it up.
I hopefully stand corrected.
Okay.
Right
Sean,
on.
thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man, we're just going to jump right into things.
right.
First and foremost, you head up VHS and Chill.
I do.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, like the beginning and the origins and all that?
I want the hour-long unabridged version.
Oh, yes.
Go.
Well, I guess about 4 years ago, like anybody, you're watching RoboCop. You've got an old VHS copy of it.
Don't know how many times I've just popped in a RoboCop VHS.
Just one afternoon, you're watching RoboCop. You're just hanging out. You're chilling, and you see over and over again the big bad guy of the movie's got a wall. He's got a wall of CRT TVs in his apartment.
Yeah.
They have it at OCP at the big offices. They've all got all these cool walls, and I'm like, man, in all these old 80s movies, the bad guys always had cool TV walls. And I was thinking, that can't be too expensive nowadays. You know, I'm not going to put up flat screens, but old CRT TVs. I go, I mean, you know, as a child, you know, you don't know anybody that has a wall of TVs. Like I didn't growing up know anybody.
Or how am I going to, how do you connect all of them together?
I had to learn all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Was there splicing involved?
Yeah.
There was just a lot of splitters.
Y cables?
Yes, splitters.
Yeah,
daisy chaining.
You go down to the Goodwill and you grab
did.
yourself a CRT, much like this Sony Trinitron Wega series over here. Great for gaming, great for VHS.
Yes.
Wonderful. So did you just like start collecting them?
Oh, I had a goal. Like I had a design. Like I wanted, I saw the movie. I was like, I want to build a TV wall. And I'm like, you know, let's do this. That can't be expensive. And the wife's like, what? Like just out of nowhere, just why do you want this? And I was like, no, it's the thing. It's going to be cool. And she's like, you know, why? Like, I was like, no, it's cool. Trust me.
Yeah, like something you wanted to do from childhood.
Yeah, you get to do it.
It's inexpensive. I'm not going out. I'm not buying a Ferrari.
Or let alone like 50, you know, Daewoo or Insignia TVs, you know.
Yeah.
You can get these for what? $5-10 bucks a piece?
That's when she was in on it. She was like, oh, they're like $5 to $10 pop for an old CRT TV. Yeah. So I buy 9 of those and I get them and I build a wire shelf in the garage, put them against the wall. I go for ones with coax cables. So I find coax cables, coax splitters. I'm going to Radio Shacks. I'm buying those splitters because back then they were still around.
Yeah.
And they still had those little, you get them off the shelf, and I buy all of them, and I'd go to the next store, buy all of his splitters, and I ended up daisy chaining all these TVs together to a VCR. And it's just one VCR. So it was all the same image, just on different screens. It wasn't like one image on all 9.
Right.
It was just the same, you know, RoboCop over and over and over again. And I thought that was cool.
That's super cool.
We turned it on. I loved it. It was great. All my friends started coming over. We started doing parties, garage parties. You know, you put in a beer fridge, you put in neon lights. You just start having fun with it. You're grabbing some tapes while you're out here and there at the thrift stores. You know, the Goodwills and stuff, you find in a tape here and there.
Yeah, garage sale. Yeah.
And the parties just kept going, and we started calling them VHS and Chill nights. We started theming them. We would have themed drinks, food, and just having lots of fun, having people over, and did that for couple years, but they started getting bigger and bigger. Like more people kept inviting, like, hey, I know this dude, he loves VHS, he'd love to come to one of these. So yeah, sure, whatever. And then they just they got bigger and bigger and too bigger, and I ended up buying a projection screen and getting a projector. And we would do nights where we would sync a movie on the TV wall, on the projector, on the screen. We had some flat screens on the walls. Like we would have the movie everywhere around you.
Surround.
Yeah. We did that with Turbo Kid, was our big one. I don't know if you guys have seen Turbo Kid.
No, it's on Netflix. I have not
amazing.
Watched it, and every time I see it's one of those, we were talking about the last show. You scroll, it's that endless Netflix scroll, but you see that cool artwork. It takes you back to being a kid, like the box at a video rental store, like wearing a motorcycle helmet and shit. I'm like, that looks like it could be fucking cool, but I never pushed. Do it.
Okay. It's worth it.
All right.
It's worth the 2 hours.
Is it comedy, sci-fi, or all of the above?
It's sci-fi, but done in a way that's hilarious.
Okay.
Like, it's post-apocalyptic. Michael Ironside is the big bad guy. I mean, it's great. It's
And
the
it's
soundtrack.
a newer movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on a Kickstarter. They one of those Kickstarter movies they put together, and they ended up making another movie or two that are really good.
Okay.
But yeah, the party started getting bigger. We ended up putting lawn chairs out into the driveway, out into the cul-de-sac. Like, just people kept showing up at these things, and the wife is like, "You've got to stop. Like, you have to do something with this. You can't just keep, because people are in our house. We don't know who these people are. You turn a corner, somebody's in your bathroom. You're like, hey, I don't know you. What's up, man? Like, just random people in your house. And she was like, you can't keep doing that. These are too big. So we went public. We started driving around, going to venues and looking at places. I thought I'd be doing like the corner of a bar with one TV and a VCR, just showing movies randomly for a while. But everybody I got in touch with, all my first choices, hit me back and they were like, yes, this is weird. We want it.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah. So I got to pick from different places. And the first place was the IAO Gallery down on Film Row.
Yeah.
Brandon out there hit us up and was like, let's do this. Let's put on a show. So the first show we did was a Jeff Goldblum night. And
That's a good choice for a first start.
Oh, yeah. And what we did was we disassembled the TV wall. We built it back up at the gallery. And we had to like rent a U-Haul.
I was going to say, how do you get that? CRTs aren't heavy or small.
No, they are heavy.
Oh wait, I mean, they're
not light.
They're very heavy.
Yes, and all the cabling and the tapes and everything. And by that time, I had amassed a lot more tapes, a lot more VCRs.
Right.
Just random old. I started really getting into it, and just kind of anything I'd see, I'd grab and snatch, and had these stacks of TVs and VCRs, that I would fiddle with and try and get working and stuff.
Because they're so inexpensive that if you found one, like, that's $1, fine, I'll fucking get it.
Yeah. They were, the price was just, and that's the key that was a hobby that is easily supportable in Oklahoma City is VHS tapes.
One might call it hoarding, but it's for a cause.
Yes, exactly. And I'd take them apart. I'd put them together to get other ones working.
What about maintenance? Do you do maintenance on any of these things? Do you have a cleaning kit? That's my big question.
A head cleaning kit.
Yeah. You ever give a little sniff late at night by yourself?
And those droppers that have been dried up and empty since the 90s. And like, you get excited and you're like, there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there.
There never will be again.
No, never.
It is gone forever.
Gone. You have to look up online what it's made of to try and...
How many Corvette videotape rewinders do you have?
I had a T-Bird videotape rewinder I gave away as a prize at one of my shows.
Oh, that's nice.
Dude, I remember those were like the coolest thing.
The Burt Reynolds one. Yeah, the Burt Reynolds
like
show.
Like the black and gold one? Oh, fuck yeah.
The
That's
lights, the lights lit up when you put the tape in.
Dude, that's some serious swag.
Yeah.
Write that down for our next live show. We're going to one up Sean here.
Okay.
We want 2 T-Bird cassette rewinders from Goodwill.
All right.
Well, it's funny you brought up going to thrift stores because when we asked to have you on, I started thinking about VHS tapes. And I started thinking, I'm 37, so VHS was everything to me when I was a kid. It was the first medium, for movies that I had. I mean, never had a Laserdisc player, obviously, but VHS was it.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good collection when I was a kid. I still have a collection. One of my favorites from thrift stores are, and I'm sure you've ran across some of these, the low-budget Christian scare tactic films from like the 80s. Yes. I probably got about 7 or 8.
Yes.
And I fucking love those things.
Those are the best things to put on when you've got a party. It's 3 a.m. The main show is over and you just throw in one of those and everybody's drinking and just cracking up and having a good time.
And they're so campy and cheesy and obviously over the top.
Yeah.
And they have like amazing titles like, Don't Go to Hell or something, Your Children Are Going to Hell or something like that.
What was the one where the guy's basically talking about bands that are Christian bands that have turned to darkness?
Yeah, I forget, but I know the exact one you're talking about.
Great.
It's like, you think DC Talk is a Christian band, but actually if you read this one word and misconstrue it in a crazy fashion, they're devil worshippers.
And he makes like an hour long video. Like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
So I actually have a VHS in my hand here. One of my favorites, it is Korn, Who Then Now. It is a backstage look at the life of an early young band of heathens from
what year is on that?
Give me a second. 97. So it's later in the game.
So they were still making cassettes in 97. I'm glad you picked that one because that was kind of a big deal in like the mid to late 90s, whereas bands putting out or artists in general putting out VHS tapes. me and my junior high buddy went to the mall and went to was it Disc Jockey? That was one of the
Depends on the mall.
well, Shawnee Mall. I don't know
It
why we
was
went to
Disc
Shawnee Mall.
Jockey, yes.
And they had Nirvana Live Tonight sold out. It was $29.99.
Yep.
And he took all the money he had in his pocket and bought it.
Yeah.
And we went right to his house and watched it, and it was the coolest fucking thing.
I'm going to pass that around. I know
Yeah.
you're very familiar. We all are here, but the sliding out of the slipcase.
Oh. Well, see, I don't like what you did. You put it in. Got to put it right back.
he's right.
I fucked up.
I will find them like that
Label
in the
out.
thrift store and flip them around and slide them back in.
You're a good man.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. There's no. So you have the top
Label?
label, but there's no side label.
Yeah, not on. They were cutting costs. It was between
I like
albums.
a good side label because no, I want to see it when I'm putting it in, but I also before it goes in, I need to make sure that that's what I'm watching.
Oh yeah, got to have visual clarification there. It just feels great.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
The apparatus that opens when it's pushed down into the machine, so interesting to me. You know, we're older now. Now it's. I almost said CDs, but we're beyond that. Everything's streaming.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not even downloads anymore. It's streaming.
Yeah,
Streaming
somebody-
movies, streaming music.
If they hand you a CD, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Like, my cars don't have CD
My
players.
car doesn't
Like,
have
I
one
don't-
either.
Like you go see a
I can
band
put it
like
in my computer, I
Right.
guess.
My computers don't
Yeah,
these days.
yeah.
Well, my PC does because it's like a gaming
no,
tower.
you have to buy one separate.
Yeah.
Like I have
That's how they get you.
I have a Mac Mini that doesn't have a CD drive, but I wanted to like upload drive. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I wanted to do with it. I was like, oh, I'll just get a CD.
You're old porn. Let's be honest.
Pretty much. So I had to buy a CD drive, and like, why are they so expensive? It's just a CD. It used to come stock on everything.
Yeah.
It's for many reasons, and not to get too blue here, but you know, back in the early 2000s, just in my sad apartment by myself with the mattress on the floor and the guitars, there was always the spindle of porn. It was like you download it, you burn it on a DVD-R, CDR, you hide it, and yeah, you know those days are gone.
Now you're saying spindle, like so,
like a CDR.
yeah, like when you buy a
stack.
blank way, and you're just
Yeah,
but they're all labeled something else. So I
yeah,
don't know how to
like
find out.
you know, program management or like, you know, McAfee 2004 or something like
but
that.
you know what it is.
Oh, I know what it is.
You
Like
know
the
exactly
back of
what
my hand. But yeah, things have changed, man.
Oh, yeah.
There is something beautiful and tangible about the VHS, much like the audio cassette. The fidelity isn't what things are now, but there's something beautiful about the warmth. I say recently, it was probably about a year ago, I found a really nice VCR at the Goodwill. And I'm not talking about just like the cord wrapped around it haphazardly. It was a Sony 4-head, beautiful. It's like a big statement VCR.
Yeah.
Came with the remote.
Yeah.
I think it even had the manual with it.
Those are rare. They're nice.
I brought it home, ran the head cleaner through it, the dry head cleaner through it, and off to the races I was. And also, I bought a copy of Blade Runner on VHS.
Yes.
And to put that in, even through my flat screen TV, to put that in and see the intro, I don't know what they call that, but like the Paramount or the United Artists thing or whatever that, the TriStar, whatever that's
even
called.
before like the FBI warning that would pop up, like I love that, and like the tracking's all kind of fucked up.
Yeah. The FBI warning is like the old man's iTunes user agreement.
Yeah.
No one ever read it.
Nobody
no one
read
ever
it.
regarded
Yeah.
it.
No,
You just skip it.
Yeah.
Or you actually can't skip. You fast
You
forward.
fast forward, you
But
hold
you
the button
don't.
down.
Yeah.
and then my favorite is like renting a VHS. Like there's a whole world of just movie rentals as a kid. Was like Friday, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna get pizza. My buddy's gonna come stay the night. We're gonna go to the video store, and we're all gonna get to pick one movie. And if my sister and my brother or sister are staying at their friend's house, I get to pick 3 movies.
Yeah.
And you go the whole experience of going in and picking them out, and then you know you get it and you put it in, and then the coming attractions. I fucking love that. Like that's you don't get that anymore.
You don't. You really
coming
don't.
You skip past them, or they're like an extra on a Blu-ray or a
But that's
DVD.
what, like going to a theater, going to
Yeah.
a movie theater. I like getting there early because I still like seeing. I'm a sucker for trailers.
Yeah.
and I don't like getting them spoiled on the internet.
No. I rarely watch a trailer on the internet unless it's a movie that's already out and I'm like, okay, I'm on the fence about going to see it, something like that. But yeah, I don't like those like first sneak peeks. I don't even like when I see like photos from a set. Like, oh, so-and-so's the new Venom. Check this out. It's like, oh, I don't want to see it. I want to either be surprised or let down.
Yeah.
You know, one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like on the VHS and chill nights. Like, if it's like a video store VHS, you will play like the coming attractions.
Oh,
and shit.
yeah. People will clap and
Yeah.
cheer. And like we did a show at Rodeo and we showed True Romance on VHS on the big screen. And it was the first time I'd ever showed it in a full movie theater setting. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a VHS player hooked up to the projector. We put it in. It had a big trailer for Demolition Man, and it was one of those coming soon to V8 to video cassette. You know, it's made this many on the box office.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
everybody was clapping and cheering, and they like, you know, when they see the trailers like that, they dig.
It's
So
awesome.
speaking of Rodeo Cinema, I have a friend that either still works there or used to work there, Randy Heyer.
Yep.
Boys alum.
Yep.
Great guy. VHS collector.
Oh, yeah.
Has an amazing collection.
Yes.
All around great person. I've always loved Randy. Shout out to Randy. I'm sure you're listening. Thank you, Randy. But you know, he posts Instagram stories and he mentioned something about working there. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I'm
a lot
not
of people
big,
didn't.
well, I'm not a big purveyor of Stockyard City.
Mm-hmm.
I was when I was a kid. My dad loved Cattleman's. My dad's kind of country.
Whose dad didn't like
Yeah.
Cattleman's?
Everybody's dead.
I like it now.
The Cattleman's is
wonderful.
my go-to gift for my dad. So Christmas, I'm going to Cattleman's. You're getting a $100 gift certificate.
Well,
There you go.
guess what? This year, I'm getting my dad a Cattleman's gift certificate, maybe a couple passes to rodeo.
There you go.
You know,
Boom.
maybe.
Same. I didn't know what it even existed.
I didn't either.
How long has it been there?
Well, the Rodeo Opry's been operating out of there for years.
So it's where the Opry is.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they still do Saturday nights. Even now, they still we shut down the theater. We roll up the screen, push the speakers out of the way. They do their country music, show that they do. We set it back up the next morning.
Oh, cool.
And we're showing movies now, but we've been showing movies for about 2 months now.
Okay.
We had our grand opening just a week or two ago, and I mean it's been awesome.
What's the vibe like in there? Paint a picture for me, if you will.
I mean, we're going for the rustic. Like, have either of you guys been to McClintock's next door, the bar down there?
No,
don't
again,
think so.
I don't
Okay,
really
exactly.
know
Yeah,
the
been down to
Stockyards.
Stockyards.
I've got friends who work at McClintock,
Yeah.
bartenders and bar managers there. So
Well, I got friends in low places, so
There you
fuck
go.
you.
They go
Continue.
we're going for the classic look. There used to be like a big chandelier with antlers on it, and we took that down.
Smart.
Put a nice chandelier up there.
Good
Like
move.
they got the tin ceiling tiles, like the old style, and
How many screens are there?
one. It's a one
Really?
screen independent film.
So it's truly
nonprofit.
like old school.
Yeah, it's the old building. It
So-
used to be a theater.
That's amazing.
I've been to the Opry a couple of times. Probably like 15 years ago. So I don't really remember much what the interior was like. So is the seating? Is it theater like old school movie theater seating?
No, they took all that out.
Okay.
It's modern seating.
What do they call that? Auditorium
Stadium seating?
It's got stadium seating in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, and the front part's just kind of like a normal theater,
Okay.
but they're new seats. They recline. They got the arms that come up. People have told us they're like the comfiest seats in town. They're
Very
They're
nice.
not leather. They're cloth. They breathe. It's nice to
And you guys
chill and
show
relax in them.
like really cool movies there or things that you can't really see most other places.
independent films, non-profit,
That's so awesome.
documentaries, things like that. We've been showing.
We got to check it out. We
We
got
gotta
to
get down there.
We got to go down there and we got to check in on our field recorder and maybe give a play-by-play analysis of parking, walking in, buying the ticket,
The whole deal.
maybe a concession.
Oh, a concession for sure. There's concessions.
We
on
have
Mission-
concessions,
There
yeah.
you
That's
go.
good. That's good at a movie theater.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you
know?
have peanut M&Ms?
We do.
Okay, that's that's my movie go-to.
There you go.
And we're getting the beer and wine. We're on the list.
Cool.
Because of the law changed and everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, High Point local brew cans and little bottles of wine.
Well, what are
We're
your
gonna take
thoughts
out.
on that, honestly? Like, do you think it's a good thing all the time at all movie theaters? You guys are kind of a specialty movie theater, I would
Yes.
say. So I don't know if I want a bunch of like 21-year-olds at Penn Square Mall on a Friday night getting drunk.
I mean,
but maybe for something like yours.
But I'm still on the side of that anyway. Because in Texas you can go in and watch Minions with a giant mug of beer, like a big any
Like an Alamo
anything,
Draft
yeah.
House, yeah.
And I've never. It's like an El Chico. It's like you don't see big people running around being drunk and crazy.
That's true.
Because it's not that bar environment. Like they can have the drinks, but you're not seeing a dude usually slam down shots or
No, because
have cocktail after cocktail.
They're priced to the point that you're not
Yes.
really going to want to. Like when I would go to Alamo Draft House, I would get like a Lone Star.
Yeah.
And then after, when she comes back around, like, I'll get one more.
yeah, you're not throwing down.
Yeah, no,
at
people
the
usually
movie
don't.
theater.
I haven't seen it anyway.
Okay, cool.
And I've gone to Draft House shows and
Oh,
I
I
dig
love
it out
that.
there. I love
Well, that's
it.
like that when you do your VHS and chill nights, those shows kind of have a a vibe of the Alamo, when the Alamo does their like sing along nights and stuff, or if it's like a quotable movie like Monty Python or something, like the Super Troopers night. Like, I'm sitting back there like I could quote that whole movie from from beginning to end, and that's kind of like, it's a fun vibe. Like you said, how you started, it was kind of a party, getting people together,
and I wanted to take that out and just share it with everybody. And that's when we go to these bars, we go to these shows, we do them. The Super Troopers one, we had the syrup chug at the end of the night and gave away some stuff, and we always try to give away stuff or do something fun with everybody.
Now, when you did that, did they actually chug syrup?
They did. It was sugar-free, and they told me that almost made it worse because it was very awful tasting.
Right.
Okay.
But I didn't want to, give anybody a diabetic coma.
You don't want to
or
spike
anything.
anybody.
Yeah. And they were little bottles, but that one dude like downed it before the other guy could blink.
Yeah.
Like the other guy didn't have a chance.
He came ready.
Yeah.
He came
The
prepared.
other guy was just like, here, I'm done. And there you go. Give him the prize.
That's
Give the man
amazing.
his prize. Like, there was no way.
You win.
Well, I was trying to think of, going back to the VHS growing up, I was trying to think of my first VHS that was mine.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a family that liked movies. We did the same thing. It was Friday night. We lived out in Choctaw, so the closest movie store was probably 15 minutes away.
Yep.
And just so happened there was a Pizza Hut right next door. So my dad would call in the pizza, that classic those dad toppings that I won't go bore you with the details about, but every
Canadian bacon, probably.
Canadian bacon, mushroom, black olives.
Ooh.
That's the house special, as we call it. And that's what I still get to this day when I order pizza, because it reminds me of being a kid. And right next door, there was Video Biz. It was on Douglas Avenue.
Oh, okay.
And they were one of those old school places that had the little tabs that you pull and take up to the counter. And then they, go get the movie out of the back.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. There was like a little plastic tab that, had like a dot matrix printer of the movie title on the actual box in a plastic.
I never experienced that.
Yeah. You'd pull the tab and you'd take the little, it was probably like an inch and a half by an inch and a half. You take it up there, they pull your movie, and that would come out in like a clear box, like a clamshell box. And I remember just walking those halls. It was one of the movie theaters that had the old saloon doors with the adult section too. Now you couldn't buy, as they call it, hardcore porn or
not
rent
in
it.
Oklahoma.
But it was like the Skinamax section,
Christie's Toy Box.
Yeah, the Christie section.
Yeah.
And I remember like trying to sneak a peek in there, if an old perv was coming out and swinging that door open proudly, I'd try to get a little look of a tit or something. But so many movies there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of drawing a blank on my first VHS that was mine.
Like you bought?
Either, bought or that was a gift, something that was mine.
My video store was actually down the street from a neighborhood you used to live in. It was Video Premiere, and it was around the corner from the Country Boy.
Yeah.
Like a little plaza.
Grocery store, yeah.
And they, it was the typical box and then the clear box behind it. And most movies were you just got that one copy, and if it's gone, it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
But new releases, they usually had like 3 to 6 copies of it.
Not the monolithic wall like Blockbuster.
No, and it's like,
had.
you got to get there early. I got to get in there and get that fucking movie.
Is that what you told your dad?
I got to get that fucking movie. Got to get 3 Ninjas, Dad. That was mine.
Yeah.
So it
Nice.
was a video store that, so when you go to the counter, they'd have the snacks and shit, concessions, your Act 2 popcorn. And then there was a bin, like, when you go to like a gas station or something, it's like a junk snack bin that they're getting rid of.
Yeah.
But it's a bin, and it's all previously viewed movies.
There it is.
And they were like $3.99. And you're scrolling through them like, I don't need Joy Luck Club. I don't need this shit. But there's a copy of 3 Ninjas. It's like, fuck yes. I don't want to, I couldn't get my rental because it was the same price. Like, then I want to buy this one.
Okay.
And that was mine. Also, at the same time, they had a box where they would sell, because they're always hanging up movie posters for the movies that are coming out.
Sure.
Well, the ones that are they're not promoting anymore, they would roll up and sell for $1 a piece.
Oh man, magical. Totally
I got a
magical.
3 Ninjas poster that day.
Same night.
Nice.
Same night.
Talk about a double feature.
I
You
go
know what I'm
home. I
saying?
proudly hang that 3 Ninjas poster up on my wall. Oh, so fucking stoked.
I remember the box, with the rolled up posters, and they would usually put a little like sticky note on it that said what it was,
Yeah, it's
and
like
then
rubber band, or they would like write it in like Sharpie pen or whatever.
on the back, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never actually bought a poster from there, but I remember like digging through them. Like I really wanted the Batman poster, just the simple,
yeah.
Yeah.
classic movie
Just
poster
the
with just
logo.
the logo, the stark orange on black or yellow on black, magical.
Yeah.
I remember my very first VHS that was mine, and I did buy it myself, and I believe it was about $25, but it was Encino Man.
Oh,
To this day is like one of the movies that molded me as a kid.
All the time I watched that movie.
I loved Encino Man. I loved Son-in-Law. Son-in-Law was a biggie for me because, you know, Paulie really set the table with Encino Man.
Yeah.
And then he danced around it with Son-in-Law. I fucking love that movie.
People used to wait in lines before the video stores would open. I used to work. I mean, I was a movie kid. I worked at Video Update, and they had like a straight out in the open right next to everything else porn section at Video Update. That we always had problems with kids trying to sneak the tapes into their Barney tapes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we would have to open the box because you'd see Penthouse, you know, girls.
You
and you're
gotta
like, really,
commend
kid?
them. Like,
Yeah,
hey, man,
kid.
good try, but
But it was like right in front of their mom, and
Yeah.
they're just like, I didn't pick this. It was already in there. And the mom's like, really? And then you drag the kid off by his ear.
Dude, could you imagine being busted for something like that?
And I would bust every one of them.
Did you take pride in it?
Oh yes,
dude, I would have too.
And they'd see you reach for it, and they'd kind of start shaking their head like, dude, don't do this to me. And you're like, oh no, man,
this is
I'm opening
happening.
this.
That's amazing.
Why are you renting Barney? You're like 15. There's no way, kid.
Yeah, you could have
You're
hit
too
it
obvious.
a little
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
And I worked there. I worked movie gallery. I worked Blockbuster. You know, I worked at the old AMC that's now like a PF Chang's. That one that used North Park or whatever used to be way over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be, or North or whatever it was called. I used to work there. Like, I've always been a movie kid. I loved the video stores and the walls and people would come in, and if they didn't get their tape, they would let you know. Like,
my mom was looking back now, it makes perfect sense because she's the same way going to restaurants. She's not mean to waitresses, but she'll just be kind of mean. But she would do that.
She's a total bitch.
She'd be,
Let's be
she's like,
honest.
well, if you don't have chicken, then I guess that's fine. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
But-
I won't eat.
Yeah, I guess I won't eat. She would do that at the video store, like, excuse me, do you not have any more carpets and bridges in Madison County?
yeah.
No, we don't. Well, who's due back? Someone's got one due back today.
Ooh, or the classic, hey, could you check those over there?
That's what I was going to say. Anytime a tape would drop in behind us, you could hear it clunk, clunk into the box. And they'd be like, can you check? And that's it.
She was that one.
And you'd go, yeah, I can
My
check.
mom would go as far as to like make people pull it up. Who's got one due back today? Put mine when that comes in. Call me.
Yeah.
Like,
Give me their home address.
no, like you want them to call you whenever Bridges of Madison County comes in.
How bad do you want to see Steel Magnolias? Jesus, lady. That's amazing. I loved movies when I was a kid. I don't really watch as many movies now that I get older. I like documentaries. I like.
Oh, what you got there?
Oh my.
It's going to give you guys.
Oh my God.
Found that in the garage.
Oh wow. All right, so Sean just pulled out a classic Blockbuster video clamshell
Robbie, this is
case.
awesome.
Let's see.
Dude,
Can I
you gotta
see?
read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
That's
see.
so fucking awesome.
What?
That is so rad.
That is the coolest thing. Okay, this is even. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's Barney. Thank you. No. You made for us a. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, I thought it was a Blockbuster, but it actually says VHS and Chill.
Yeah.
It's got all the barcodes, the same fonts and everything, and it says Boys Podcast, Special Guest, VHS and Chill. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
We're going to
that's
have to
fucking-
shadow box this Joker.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is going on the wall.
Yeah. I made sure to pick a good tape in there for you
Oh,
guys,
yeah, you
too.
did. What was it here? Inside Sports Magazine. So, it's the swimsuit
Ooh, the
spectacular.
swimsuit.
Somebody's gonna be jacking tonight, baby. This is an old school jack right here. Oh my gosh, dude. Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. That is awesome.
That is fucking cool.
I love making custom covers and tapes. I do that for all kinds of different, for modern movies. I'm in a kick now where I do bootlegs of, like, I've got Blade Runner 2049 on VHS.
Really?
You know,
Yeah.
Guardians 1 and 2. Like,
So do companies make that, or do you make these?
I make them.
Okay.
But there's a lot, I got into it because people on Instagram are doing it. But if there is a modern release that's on VHS for some advertising reason, I will hunt that down. Like, Deadpool,
Yeah.
2 years ago did Comic-Con. They released 100 VHS tapes signed by Ryan Reynolds.
oh,
I got my hands on one of
you
those.
got one?
Yeah, and I've always wanted to open it and see what's on the tape, watch it, but I haven't touched it.
yeah.
So is it shrink wrapped?
Yeah, shrink
Oh,
wrapped.
yeah.
It's got the Fox, that little white, printing on the thing that says, 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely sealed up.
Well, I gotta say, man, we've been brought some gifts here. This is probably
That's
this
the coolest.
made my heart sing when
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
the reality. Thank you so much.
No,
Oh,
you
yeah.
hand it to me.
It's
It's like,
amazing.
oh, I wonder what blockbuster movie this is going to be like. Oh, that's the name of our podcast. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you what, let's go out on a bang here. My heart's aflutter. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. BoysPodcast.com. It's a hub of all things boys. There you will find links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as a golden donate button. Once again, that's BoysPodcast.com.
Boys Podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever you grab your podcasts. Please rate, review, subscribe, and donate.
Email us, boys@boyspodcast.com. Send us a little feedback, your thoughts on an episode, something you'd like for us to talk about, something you'd like to share, thoughts, concerns, criticisms. We'll send you some free stickers. Just make sure to pop that physical address in the bottom of the email.
Thank you to our sponsors, Anthem Brewing. AnthemBrewing.com, makers of delicious beers that wet your whistle.
They're great humans. Let's not forget that.
They're great humans.
You know, in this day-to-day grind, we forget about the human nature of humans.
It's very true.
They're great people, great beer. It's a great product. I like beer. Every time.
We got to get a fucking Kavanaugh drop for that. Fat Bison, fatbison.com, maker of handmade. This is an artisan craft. This is pure craftsmanship. I was on his website last night, perusing through. We're going to get a new table for the new house. We're moving to a new place. Going to get a new table. I want it made.
I like tables.
Bison. I like tables.
You sit at a table?
Fatbison.com.
Also, he's a one-man operation, great friend of the show, supporter of the show.
You want to keep it local? It don't get more local.
No, it doesn't. Made right here in Oklahoma.
Champion Vintage. Champion Vintage OKC on Instagram. Peep through all the inventory of fine vintage wares and household goods.
Lastly, thank you so much for the donations, the feedback, the thumbs up, the hearts, the retweets, all of the above, the views and listens, everything. Speaking of views, head over to YouTube, search Boys Podcast Oklahoma up in that search bar. Give us a subscribe. We're trying to, even if you listen on your mobile device and you're a listener and not a viewer, it'd help us out just a little bit to go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We'd like to get those numbers up a little.
Because what's it gonna hurt you?
Yeah. I mean, week after week, boy after boy, girl after girl, and all things in between. We bring you a great quality show week after week. Give a little back. That's all we ask. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Boys Podcast. We are with Sean Peel from Rodeo Cinema, VHSANDCHILL. Brought us the coolest fucking gift.
I'm still beaming.
I know,
over
it's
here.
so fucking cool. Sean, I offered you a beer and you whipped out a couple of, looks like very long breasts.
These were in honor of Oklahoma passing the liquor laws and the 7-Elevens now being full of wine. I had never got any yet, gone in, and I figured I'd pick some up on the way over.
Well, that's amazing.
Just completely random. Didn't even look at which ones they were. Just
a white and a red.
I'm right. No, you can't go wrong.
Well, that's how you do it. Just grab a white and grab a red. So I have not.
Well, hold on. Before we go any further, let's get the plugs out.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, I guess this will be in a week or two when this airs.
It'll be a week from this Friday.
So we'll miss the one coming up now. I guess it'll be a couple Thursdays ago. Is our last show at the Speakeasy.
Okay.
We've been at the Speakeasy for about a year now. It's like a second family. Like, I love the guys up there. I love the stuff they do. Everybody that works up there is awesome. When we moved from the IAO gallery to Speakeasy, to him, those guys jumped on, letting us in there and doing our weird, like, when I was telling the guy what I want to do, he would like stop me. He's like, just, yeah, yes.
Say no more.
I was like, but it's the show. We do VHS. He's like, you're in. Just, you guys, the second Thursday every month, you're in. Do it. So they gave us a home. We've done some great, crazy shows. We've had a good time there. And when I got the job at Rodeo and they offered me doing VHS and chill on the big screen, which, you know, is like the evolution to take a tape that may be 25 years old, was rented, a previous view tape was in somebody's house forever, and then take that movie and put it back on the big screen, but in VHS, you know, format, 4x3, like that, to me, that was a dream, man. I was like,
it's taking that dream job. I don't know about you. For me, my dream job as a kid was I wanted to be a movie projectionist.
Yes, and that's what I never get to do now.
That's amazing.
And you're doing it as your thing.
Yeah. And when I told the Speakeasy guys, you know, I'm going to be doing shows there, and he's like, oh, I guess we're done. And I was like, no, man, you know, and he's like, oh, no, man, he's like, you've moved. It's cool. It's fine. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's all right, man. And that was like a couple months ago, and I didn't know what he was talking. I was like, whatever, man, we still do. And now we've got those, you know, we were doing the Speakeasy shows. We've got the shows at Rodeo now, you know, at the end of the month. We've got, we're doing shows at the Paramount now with all those cats up there on Film Row again, which is cool to be back down there. And I was like, you know, both of them are in theater situations now. They're both going to be able to serve alcohol. And I'm like, I can't do 3. And there's even more stuff coming up that I'm going to be doing. You guys heard of Circle Cinema in Tulsa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rodeo is Circle Cinema's
sister
baby. Like that's people have been bugging Circle for decades, you know, open a theater in Oklahoma City. And they're like, fine. Okay. We'll open a theater in Oklahoma City. That's what Rodeo is. Like, we're backed by them. And those guys now want me to come down to Tulsa and do VHS and chill nights out there like 4 times a year. Quarterly, dude,
that's rad.
So that'll be next year. I'm excited about that. And I was like, I have to let the Speakeasy go. Like, I don't want to, but with the theater job and with everything, I can't do, you know, 3-4 shows a month. That's just too much. I mean, I think, and I love VHS, but I'm like, I gotta let it go. And he's fine. And he was like, that's awesome. And then he's like, anytime you want to come back, you know, and do a show, you know, even if you're not monthly, he's like, hit me up.
It's like baby boy going off to college.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Going off.
And on Instagram, it's VHS and Chill.
Yep. VHS and Chill OKC. I put the OKC on the end. Cool. I'm proud of the city. So,
yeah, for sure. It's where you come from.
You have a Oklahoma Film Society Horror Fest screening at Rodeo on the 26th of October.
Yep. We moved it to Friday nights, 10 p.m. We're showing Critters.
I saw
the classic.
that, which kind of ties back to a kind of a semi-running theme on the show. We bring up Ninja Turtles a lot, and Critters was the movie.
I'm gonna pop this wine. Continue.
Yeah, pop that wine. I want a glass of that red. Give me a red Solo, that red. So Critters is the movie that Raphael goes to see.
Yes, in Ninja Turtles. Yes.
You know, but was it Critters 2 or was it Critters? I can't remember. But for some reason, that movie will always stick in my head as like, you're gonna hate me. Never seen it, but I know. But the VHS box in the video store is like one of those that will forever be in my mind. I think it was Critters 2 where he's coming out of the toilet.
Yeah,
that's like
I think that's one. It's either that or Ghouls. Ghouls has little monsters coming out of toilets on that cover.
It's I don't
because there's 4 Critters movies. Yeah, so I mean it could be. But I think 2.
But wasn't one of them wasn't even really kind of a part of it really. It was like, it was like a...
Bring it back.
I'm sorry. Rodney Dangerfield, I don't know. Anywho. Kevin fucking Bacon. So, the wine thing. I have been to a grocery store. I've seen that there. I've not been into it. I've gone to a gas station. I bought gas.
Yeah.
I've yet to see wine in it.
No, they're there.
It's usually just like a little wire rack or like cardboard display, but I've seen it like once.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's going to make this huge splash." Cheers, by the way, guys.
Hey,
thank you so much, Sean.
Yes, cheers.
Thanks,
you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's going to change everything." It's like, dude, I barely notice it. Other than beer being scarce for a week.
Yeah.
You know, when people were like getting rid of their old stock and they had some new stuff maybe on a pallet if it was a larger gas station.
I think it kind of, for those who weren't used to buying drinks or beer or anything, maybe they would have noticed something. Like the only thing I noticed was it was Sunday and my wife and I are having some wine on the back porch, you know, hanging out, talking, chilling like we do. And she's like, "Oh, we ran out of wine." I'm like, "But it's 8:00. So, but it's Sunday. I'm like, "Baby, we can go get a bottle of wine.
More wine now. Yeah,
right around the corner." Like oh, that's what's cool. You don't have to fucking wait till Monday to get your shit.
Yeah. So how old of a guy are you, Sean?
I'm 38.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
you're
right there.
In great company.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny when I go back to edit these episodes, I'm like, God damn it, Rob, you said your age again. Every single episode, I bring up my stupid age for some reason. But I'm glad I asked because, we were talking about our first VHSs. Yeah. And mine was Encino Man. However, another real nostalgic thing for me was the marriage of video games and movies, or cartoons and video games. And I remember going to a Toys R Us when I was a kid and browsing the video games. They had that dope video game section right up front. It was almost like corded off a little bit, or maybe the way
you might have to explain what a Toys R Us is to people nowadays.
That's true.
Do you remember them?
Well, it was a toy store. Well, I'll go further back than that. KB Toys was my Toys R Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I do believe my dad said once audibly, that's where rich kids get their toys. That's too expensive. Because they were known to sell like your the battery powered cars.
Yeah, the RC cars.
Yeah, like
Power Wheels.
The
huge
like,
Lego
big
sets.
Toys.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's just too much. So
I think they even had like play sets and
crazy
outdoor
shit.
stuff.
Trampolines and stuff.
Yes.
And video games. Like you can go to KB Toys and get your X-Men Gambit action figure. You can't buy a Nintendo. No. You can do that at fucking Toys R Us.
Right.
That's where I would get them.
The KB would have the tiny little video game section that was like one sliding glass case.
Yeah. They sold a shit ton of those Tiger handheld games.
Yep. Oh, yeah. The poor man's...
I have a bunch of those. They're
the worst.
I get them working again. I play them for 2 minutes. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awful. It's
You're
fun.
Like, this sucks.
Is terrible.
Dude, there's nothing worse than being in a car on a family trip when you're like 10 and you're playing that. There was I bought one called Ninja. And it was just like
Was it a tiger?
It was tiger, and it was like it was like a stick man, and it was like you're basically just running, and then you jump, and that's it. The whole thing.
Yeah, it was like arm high, arm low, jump.
Fucking
that's
terrible.
It. Yeah, they sucked. I had a few of those. I got my NES when I was like 5, I think, for Christmas one year. I think I mentioned that last episode or 2 episodes ago. But once I got that NES, there was no going back to those Tiger handhelds.
No,
no way.
You don't even touch them.
Do you remember the long ones? I had the Ninja Turtle one that was long.
Ninja Turtle was long, yep.
Yeah.
They did sports ones like that. They'd have the football games and the soccer because they could do a field.
Baseball one,
And I think they had like a Top Gun one perhaps or some sort of flight
simulator game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, once I got my Game Boy, like that was done.
You didn't want Mortal Kombat, the Tiger game.
No.
Or Game Boy for that matter.
No, Game Boy kind of sucked. I only had 3 Game Boy games, but I had the kit. It's like zipper bag.
Yeah.
Oh, you can put your Game Boy in, like you can put like 20 games or probably like 15 games. I had 3.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like such a
lot of rattling around in that case.
I had the Tetris that came free with it. Did they give games away for free with any console anymore?
Not when consoles launch these days, but sometimes after the console's been out a while, they'll do
a
bundle or an edition of that console, like the God of War edition,
Assassin's Creed bundle,
Forza, something like that.
I remember just getting that free game. I loved it. Thought you were getting a deal.
Yeah, I got a few VHSs at Toys R Us. Like I remember getting like the animated Ninja Turtles by FHE Entertainment. Like
the cartoon.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of those.
Those were amazing. But yeah, just walking the Toys R Us. The video game section, there was a small movie section. It is sad that Toys R Us is gone, but I read something about they might be.
I heard that
some investors
stopped the bankruptcy or something, or they're thinking about rebranding, rebringing it back or something. Investors are coming in,
which is cool.
Yeah,
tell Jeffrey to loosen that noose. It's not over yet, buddy. I pissed my pants in a Toys R Us once.
There you go.
Were you excited?
I was scared. I was okay. You shared a story last episode that sparked that memory. You said that there's a person pretending to be like a prop, and they scared
around
you.
Halloween. Yeah.
So I walk into this Toys R Us, and they make it around the Halloween time. They kind of spook it up a little bit. And I was walking through these aisles, and there's this. It just looked like your typical ghoul, with like the hooded robe, and it's all tattered.
Yeah.
And it's sitting in a chair. I'm like, oh, it's just one of the props, whatever. And I'm walking around the corner by it, and it just pops right up at me, and I go, ah! And I... Not a lot of piss, but I was wearing khaki sutters, so it's noticeable.
Dude, any piss
Yeah.
in
Dude,
khakis.
you could be shaking your dick and putting it back in your pants after
And
peeing,
your leg is
it's
just,
like Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I went through a big khaki phase, and it was the wide leg khakis with like a sweater, maybe a sweater vest of some sort, sleeveless sweater with a t-shirt underneath. And I remember I came out of the bathroom one time. I was with my dad, and he comes out and he goes, "Damn!" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Look at them pecker tracks." And it's funny because it's like, like imagine like bird tracks in the sand. It's exactly what it looked like on my sand-colored khakis, and I'll never forget that.
It's not a safe thing. I mean, you can go darker than that about other things that come out of a penis. Khakis they're not good for that.
No, they're not.
I've stained many a dicky pant.
That's why I quit wearing them. You get older, you can't control it. We're almost 40.
You never wear them to the bar. You always...
Yeah.
No, you're not the khakis.
You know what else sucks? When, let's say you're at a concert or maybe even the bar and you're standing around with your friends, you're drinking. Maybe it's a hot day outside, a hot evening at the speakeasy or something like that. And I'm this guy. I always put my beer right here, kind of rested atop the belly. And then you move and you just have a fucking circle, a ring right
the
there.
belly ring.
It's so embarrassing. It's just like, cool, right in the middle of my chest. Right there. It's almost as bad as the pecker track.
I feel like that at the age we are now, like if you go, you go to a show, you're just like seeing a band. That's the stance. That becomes like the thing you do.
Totally.
Like just a beer. Even if you're not wanting to drink, you almost get one just so you have something to do with your hands.
Totally.
Is that weird?
I do that all the time. It's like when we went to the 311 concert, like I didn't get drunk. I just had a beer, or I had a couple beers throughout the long set, but it's like, I wasn't, again, like with the cinema thing, like I'm not slamming beers and paying $8 at a concert. It's like, but you want something to sip on, you want to be social, and definitely, because what else are you gonna do? Stand there with your arms crossed like a security guard?
Or like, do I put my hand in my pockets? Just know that now you're just trying to look cool. And what do you do? Do you put them by your side? Do you put them behind your back crossed? Like what the fuck
or
do you
just
do?
hold a beer.
You just hold a beer, hug your buddy with your other
You
hand.
have to have a prop.
Yeah.
I agree.
Show props.
Man. So I've been we talked with Stacy Dunn the other day about fitness or my lack of, and I ordered some kettlebells.
It lit a fire under your behind.
Yeah.
It did. I talked to my friend Matt, Fat Bison Matt. He's a fit guy, and I just want to feel better. Yeah. Like that's all there is to it. Like I don't care about losing weight. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want to feel better. I want to be able to get up in the morning a little easier. I want to not be tired after lunch every day. So I talked to Matt, and he gave me some advice, and I ordered a couple of kettlebells, a 15-pounder and I think a 25-pounder. And I did my first workout with it last night. It's a quick. Matt actually sent me a link to this video. It's a quick 10-minute workout. And it's a hard 10 minutes. It's 55 seconds on, 5 seconds off. 55, 5. And you're supposed to start out doing it once, but as you get better and get your stamina up a little bit, you can do it 2 or 3 times. And there's a half an hour right there. So I do this last night. I come home from work, and I was psyching myself up on the way home. I'm like, man, you ordered them. You got to fucking do it. Do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So I get home. I change into some basketball shorts.
You got to get the appropriate attire on.
Of course. I have to have some athletic gear, which involved just changing pants and putting my hair up in a ponytail so it wasn't sticking to my face. So I start this out. I get the 15-pounder. He says to start out with the 15-pounder for this one. So I do it.
You throw the video up on the old TV.
Oh, yeah. Google,
you shoot it,
whatever to my TV, And I do it. And I'm like, all right. And I was excited. I was truly, legitimately excited about doing this. I was like, all right, turning over a new leaf that's going to last 3 days. Here we go.
Exactly.
And so I start it, and I start doing it. It's not hard. And at first, the first 55 seconds, I was like, cake.
It's easy.
Easy. Oh, doing it. Mr. Kettlebell. Got this shit. Joe Rogan, move over. I got this. No shit. The next 55 seconds, hell on earth.
Yeah.
Hell on earth. 4 minutes in, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
8 minutes in, I thought I was going to give up and then die. But I did it. I made it the 10 minutes. And let me tell you, I woke up so sore today.
Oh, yeah.
Over a 15-pound paperweight.
Did you stretch?
No.
What
is that?
Everybody asks that.
Yeah.
Did you stretch?
Like you would stretch.
Dude, I stretch all the time.
I didn't stretch.
I wake up and stretch. If I find myself standing up at work, I'll do just little stretches here and there.
I stretch at work a lot.
Before I go to bed, I stretch because I realize I'm not getting any younger, and I'm trying half-assed just to try to keep this fucking vessel afloat on the seas as long as it can.
Sure.
Before eventually it just sinks to the bottom.
No, I feel you, and that's the whole reason I did this whole kettlebell thing. And I'm going to keep it up. I'm not doing it tonight because I'm fucking sore, but I will do it tomorrow. Sure. And hopefully, I'd like to do it every day.
Famous words. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll definitely do it tomorrow.
Hey, I'm sore, quote unquote. But I really wasn't. And I woke up and I was like, how am I so sore from not even really 10 minutes of exercise?
But that's probably the most like weight exercise you've done in very, very long.
Yeah, I'm a pretty sedentary guy, to be honest. Like my hobbies, everything I do, my work, a lot of it is sitting down. It felt so good. About 4 minutes in, here come the sweat. And I kid you not, I was flinging sweat around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's a pretty active thing. Like you're throwing this kettlebell around pretty hardcore.
I'm frightened of kettlebells.
They're scary. Yeah. There's something scary
I'm worried
about them.
that like I'll like hit myself in the dick with it. Or like they're heavy.
Yeah, you're gonna it's gonna fall on your head. Next thing you know, you're starring in I Am Sam 2.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's scary because there's one exercise where you actually hold it above your head and you bring it back and you go forward. And I thought, if I drop this on my head, I might die or need an assistant.
Or throw it into your television.
Yeah, or the sweat.
Hit my dog with it.
Your hands
drop it on your dog. Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah. I did it barefoot and I thought about it. I was like, okay, never again am I going to do it barefoot. Yep. Because if you drop that on your foot, you're fucked for a while. It's a bad thing. I don't want to be Mr. Fitness or anything like that. It's just like, I just want to have a little more energy and just, that's the thing. Like I edit video a lot at work and there's a lot of this. There's a lot of that stretching, doing that. And then a lot of cracking.
Apparently you're not supposed to do that, but it feels so good to do so.
Oh, that was I heard that through the headphones. That was a good crack.
Yeah, apparently you're not supposed to do that, but
you're not supposed to stretch?
Yeah, I would get massages, and the lady I got them from, she was like, you don't pop your back, do you? And I go, no. Why is it bad to do that? She's like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I do that shit all the time.
Yeah, right. I heard that about knuckles too. Like, it makes you have Alzheimer's or whatever that is. I don't remember.
Yeah. Popping your knuckles somehow goes to your brain and makes you forget your goddamn daughter's birthday.
So, Sean, I like to jump into kind of where you came from in life. Where are you from? Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, born and raised.
Really,
Okie boy.
Where'd you grow up?
Oklahoma City and Tulsa. I was born in Enid, Woodward, Tulsa, and then here. Just that was the path.
Okay, so I want to put a little time frame for it. So, did you stay in the same school district, or did you from K through whatever? Or did you kind of bounce around?
I was a Christian school kid.
Oh shit! No, you're speaking our language.
That opens up a whole other world of things.
Yeah, I've heard you guys talk, and I'm like, oh yeah.
So I have to ask you: do you still feel the Holy Spirit?
No.
Okay.
Like that. Okay, not like that.
He felt me once and it was all over.
Yeah.
I don't either, but I kind of got a feeling of the Spirit last night.
You got a little tinkling.
I got a real tingling. So my wife and I were looking for another place. We're actually moving right down the street over here, and we're waiting to meet the person. And there's a coffee shop over in Waracre, so we go there. It's open late, so we get a cup of coffee. It's called Higher Grounds. It's a Christian coffee shop. Back in in your younger days, like Christian coffee shops, like it's where you hang out. That's all you got. And I walk in, and as soon as I fucking walk in, I got that feeling of it wasn't like ugh. It was like
it's a familiar feeling.
Yeah,
very familiar feeling. The guy who owns it was like changing a light bulb, and he was super nice to us. Like that's sweet. And then as we're waiting for our coffee, I'm looking around, seeing everybody, and you see the whatever Bible verse of the day is on the chalkboard, whatever. I'm like, do I miss this? Do I miss having that, because everything about it just felt so nice and positive and good.
Positive.
It felt warm.
As many bad memories as I had when I was going through my punk phase and got out of the church, there were, I'm going to be honest, I have no regrets of growing up in a Christian household because it wasn't overbearing. It was a pretty loving household.
Yeah.
Or going to church, going to youth group. I mean, I learned to play guitar in the praise band. My first 2 bands I was in were Christian bands.
Yeah.
I feel like, honest to God, pun intended, it kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of kids were smoking weed, and I'm just making up for that now, but a lot of kids were getting into real bad shit.
Yeah.
And it kept me out of trouble. It gave me something to do. I made friends.
Yeah.
I got to go to camp
Yeah.
every
Youth group,
summer.
yeah.
Man.
You have a
Falls
whole
Creek.
different. That was a cool. You have a whole different group of friends that you see on Sunday and Wednesday. They're your Sunday, Wednesday friends.
They might be from the next school district.
yeah, they're
over,
all
know?
in different school districts. Or if they go to your school, you may not hang out with them at school, but you know that you're cool Sunday and Wednesday.
But see, as I get older now, every time I might feel a little pang of pain in the heart, or, you know, if there's like blood in my stool, or
Do you give a
I
little
can't
up?
get a boner, or a lot of things, sometimes I'm like, bro, I should get back in church. You know,
It's that guilt. That's
It
what
is,
that's
man.
why
It's
you're
residual.
It's not nature. You know, your body is just, you know, it's decaying. That's what it does.
It was the people that broke it for me with church.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy, that they would tell you no, and then they do the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to a church. It was my favorite church ever. I loved it. I love going to church there every Sunday, you know, youth group, everything. Happy, great. Pastor was the coolest pastor I've ever met. He was chill. Nobody had to dress up. You jeans, overalls, sandals, whatever.
Was it a young pastor?
I mean, I always thought he was an old dude because I was
Okay.
a young kid.
Right.
They're all old people to me.
I'm
He's probably our age.
I'm picturing the pastor with a goatee.
He had a family and everything,
And
and
drove a LeBaron.
he would do things like I'd never seen before or since, where he would ask, when they did the tithe, they passed around the plate. He'd say, if you are in need or you need help, take out of the plate. I'd never seen or heard
Oh
of that.
wow!
And he goes, if you're too embarrassed, you don't want to take in front of everybody, hit us up after the service. We will give you wads of cash. We will write checks to you.
And he was like, make sure to smash that like button.
Yeah, but he would do that, and it was all just they were there to help, and I love
That's
that because there
amazing.
would be families that couldn't eat, and these people would they'd give them the money, and I'd never seen anything. And the thing that broke me was that dude hurt himself working on his house, like fell off a ladder, cracked his back, went to the hospital, got hooked on pain pills. He's a human. He's a guy. It happens. That church turned on him and shunned,
Just
his
ostracized
family.
him.
They would preach about him falling to sin. And it was just a dude who was in pain, and he got addicted to painkillers. And instead of them rallying around the cat and helping him out and hooking him up and bringing him around family, they pushed his whole family out of that church.
Yeah.
We left after that. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
They just betrayed
what
him.
they could have done is
fucked up.
they could
Yeah,
have
it was.
they could have helped and then helped him turn his life around. And
Yeah.
now he's got a really good testimony.
Yeah.
You know, the testimony. That's the big one. Remember
The
that?
smut-
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Rob, do you want to come down Sunday and tell your testimony?
I remember, that. And I also remember, you know, coming back to school after a summer break, like, hey, Chance got saved this summer. I was like, saved from what? We're 12. Like, what?
Yeah, I remember that stuff. Asking if you want to be baptized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The altar call.
Like, do I?
I was
Yeah.
saved
Yeah.
at 8.
It's like, I don't want to get wet and Sunday morning. I don't want to get wet. I just did my hair. I
Baptismals are
got my
weird.
side spike going. I'm
And they
good.
do like an 8-year-old, and you're like, yeah, that kid knows exactly what he's doing for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to baptize. Sure. He's,
All right.
he's made that decision.
Here's the part of the weird cult where we dunk children in water.
Yeah.
That's strange to me. And
Hold your nose, dunk your water for a few minutes, bring it back up.
a few minutes?
It's not
What?
that long.
They're killing
That
babies.
didn't happen to you? Maybe I went to a weird place.
Yeah.
Something poking me in the back while the pastor's got a hold of me. It's weird.
It's called Heaven's Gate. I don't know.
No, in my later years, like I'm 90, right now in life,
Yeah.
like I don't denounce religion. I don't think it's terrible all the time. I think there's some fucked up things going on, but Josh, I agree, man. Every once in a while, I get that feeling.
I can't describe it. It felt so nice. Like my wife went to the bathroom, and when she came back out, and like we're walking to the car, and I'm like, I got to tell you something. I told her basically all of that. She's like, so you're going to start going to church? I'm like, no.
No.
I just like,
She's
'cause I don't-
slipping her ring off her finger.
She didn't go to church. She wasn't raised, so she doesn't really understand. Like, no, it was like how, on the podcast we talk about like movies and video games and like childhood nostalgia stuff, like that was Christian nostalgia hard.
Right.
And like, and it felt nice. It felt good.
Yeah.
But then you think about all the shitty things about church. Like, maybe
Because
not.
I still consider myself spiritual. I have my beliefs.
Yeah.
I, know what I feel, but I don't feel the need for that organizational, the organized religion part of it. Like, I don't feel like I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy with and content with what I feel and believe. And I don't feel the need to tell other people or make other people feel the same way. I mean, I have no problems with what other people believe.
Yeah, we're all just trying to get along on this rock that's hurling through space.
Just live and let live.
We have the quote, like when you're talking about, people being cool to each other. We always say, me and my wife and, other people in my family, we're always like, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Love
Like
it.
as a life motto, like it needs to be a bumper sticker. Just if you're thinking of something like, people would think, WWJD or whatever, just think, don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick.
And that goes for like any situation.
Any situation.
Even if it's just internal stuff of like, well, should I do this or do this? Like, well, don't be a dick and pick one of the things to do.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
It's simple.
You don't need 10 commandments. You need one.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
Was that in the Bible?
It should be.
It should have been somewhere. 1 Thessalonians. I love throwing out, and I do it to Diana all the time. I'll throw out fake Bible verses.
Yeah.
And she'll like, is that real? Like, well, no, the book is, but like, well, in Habakkuk chapter 7, verse 3 through 5, and I'll go on this thing. She's like, that sounded real. I'm like, well, yeah, I grew up in it. Like, you hear it every fucking day.
But I'll tell you what, I am probably about 5 years ago, I was feeling these same feelings to the extent of on my lunch break at work. This is going to be weird to say, but on my lunch break at work, about once a week, I would go to Mardell. Yeah. Which, if you're outside of Oklahoma, or I don't know if it's regional or whatever, but
I think
Mardell
it's pretty regional.
Is a Christian bookstore, but it's also like teacher supplies.
Yeah.
It's also clothes.
Yep.
It's also music.
Yeah,
movies.
Those Christian shirts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those spoof shirts.
They still got them.
They do. There was one of
like Halo
Jesus
people now.
dabbing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if that's not sacrilegious.
No, and there's Jesus dabbing. There's like Christian.
I've seen the Halo one too,
meme shirts
Yep.
and stuff like,
Yep.
dude.
I've seen the Halo one.
Yeah, the
for
Halo
sure.
shirt, yeah.
But if you think about it, it's like we had that when we were young. They had like the fear not for the no fear. They had the Messiah for the Massimo. They had all their. I'm sure there was a Tommy Hilfiger one too. Like they're all the things that are popular in the 90s. They twisted it.
Yep.
And gave it that Jesus spin.
Yeah, so on my lunch break, I would go to Mardell and I would like look at the Bibles, and I was like on the fence. I was like, you know what? I don't own a Bible. Now I'm not anti-religion.
You don't have your old one?
No, it's like buried at my dad's house in the attic or something.
I've got 3 in my house.
Like
None of them
engraved
belong
with your
to me.
name on it.
Oh yeah, with a little Jesus fish next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I thought that was the coolest thing when I was a kid.
Oh no! When you get saved, you
That
get
fake,
it.
that fake leatherette cover, that textured like.
And I like the gold,
lettering.
Oh,
Yeah.
the end. Where it's all. Oh.
So I was looking at Bibles, and I was like, okay, which version? Step 1, which version? Do I get the NIV? Do I get the King James? Do I get the modernized Bible? Like
The
what
Street
do I
Bible.
get? Do I get the teen Bible? I'm still a teen at heart, And I couldn't decide on a Bible. And then eventually I found one. I was like, all right, this is the one. This is the book for me.
Yeah.
This is it. Flip that joker over. Like $35.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have to pay for
They
the
don't
Word
give
of
those
God.
away.
Wait,
No.
shouldn't the Bible be free?
It should.
No.
It should. That was one of the things that when I got out of the church, when the last time I was in Mardell before I left, that was one of the things that was like the coffin nail, no pun intended, of like, yeah, dude, $40 for a Bible, like it's the Word of God. You should be. I'm pretty sure there's a verse in here that says, "Go forth and tell that
For a price.
$40.
It's
plus
an extra
tax.
$20 to get your name on it.
Plus tax, even though we don't pay tax, which is kind of fucked up.
So what happened recently is, so I'm into nostalgic things and whether it's VHS, CDs, cassettes, all that good stuff. I have a Discman, which I bought on eBay.
Oh wow.
About 6 months ago, and it was the exact Discman I had when I was a kid. I had 2 or 3 growing up, but it was like the one.
Did it have skip protection?
Dude,
Duh.
40-second
40
ESP, baby.
Yes.
And it's a Sony. It's a great unit. Still works. Bought it on eBay. I think it was like $6 on.
yeah.
I think the shipping was more than the unit. I was going through some CDs the other night in my like big old clacking book of CDs, and I found this CD of this Christian band that, because I grew up listening to Christian music. I didn't have a secular album until I was like 13 or 14.
Yep.
And I'd go to summer camp, Christian summer camp every year, and there was this band called Between Thieves, and they were like a alternative band, I guess. But at the camp we went to, they led worship every night at the nightly get together at the Tabernacle on the hill. And every night, like Monday through Thursday of that week, they just played your classic praise band songs, kind of in a rockin' way, you know?
Yeah, maybe turn that distortion up a little.
To like 2. Yeah. And I fell in love with this band, as did every kid at the camp. It was like, oh man, is this Nirvana? You know? And
They're rocking.
On Friday night, the last night of the camp, they did a concert. So it wasn't the praise music and the altar call. It was just a concert.
Proper show.
Yeah. And I was just like the coolest band ever. And I bought their CD at church camp, which I still have. And then they subsequently played a couple times in Oklahoma City, like probably 3 or 4 years after this church camp, when I was like done with church camp. And I remember going to see them at these Christian coffee houses, the Outer Cafe, the Mocha Madness, things like that. And I busted that CD out the other day. And I will say, it's produced for its age. I think it also came out in 97. And it's produced very well. And I'll tell you what, I was listening to it. I brought my Discman and that one CD to work. Like, talk about a flashback of like bringing your Discman or your Walkman and
you brought
one tape.
You brought the jewel case, all of it.
Yeah, I had it all. And I put my headphones on. I was editing some photos at work, and I was like, all right, perfect time to strap on some cans and dive back into this. And I would be lying if I said I didn't feel that same thing. That little Kindle. That little Kindle in the heart, you know?
Because a band like that is different from like Christian bands, like, you know, like an MXP or whatever, where some of the lyrics are godlike, but the Between Thieves, like, that's pretty much
they weren't just Christians in a band.
No, they were,
if you know what I mean.
Christian band. So you grew up in the Christian scene. So what bands were like kind of your?
I remember I've seen DC Talk in concert, Audio Adrenaline, Jars of Clay, like, and then that weirdly progressed to Creed.
Yeah.
And saw them, three times in concert.
That's all right. I saw them once.
Yeah. They
saw
used
them
to put on a good show.
They played at some like cat thing downtown Oklahoma City. I think it was like $1 to get in. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It was Creed, Big Wreck, and a few other bands. And it was like some special promotion that the Cat was doing. And it was like $1, or it might have been like $2 for the ticket. Yeah. And I remember when Creed played, this was after, it was before Human Clay, but it was
My Own Prison.
It was the My Own Prison era. And somebody threw a bag of weed on stage when they were playing, and Scott Stapp, between his like hers and haws, he like reached over and picked it up, and he goes, "I've been looking for some of this all day. Thanks, buddy," and put the weed in his pocket. And I was crushed.
Was there like silence?
There was cheering.
It was,
yeah, dirt weed, yeah. But I was crushed because they were kind of my bridge out of Christian music as well.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, my altar bridge, if you will. And but I was heartbroken. I was like, he smokes weed, but Gabriel stands and confirms he created his own prison. Like, what the hell?
No.
It hurt, man. And then after that, it was all Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails.
Right over the edge, right into the Cat.
One extreme to the other. You know, Cold Chamber, all those great things.
Was it 91 FM?
There was 95. Oh, 91 FM was the Christian station.
Nighttime 91?
Yep, but they would get real.
Dude, I had a buddy, Josh Kidd. Yeah. He was a DJ on that when I was probably like 17 or 18, when I was just getting out of the church scene.
When it was still out of Copwalk, Digital Praise, out in that little shack out in their parking lot.
Yes.
I've been out there.
Yeah, it was magical, dude, which honestly might have been one of the reasons I wanted to start a podcast, because he played music most of the time, but he'd pull the mic up, put the headphones on, and he would talk a little bit between songs. And I remember just being like, number one, I was like, fuck, I want this job.
Yeah.
Probably didn't pay shit.
No.
But two, I was like, one day I want to do that.
Yeah. And they would unwrap the Christmas presents in the holiday. I remember they'd put the wrapping paper like right in the mic. And
a little Foley work.
They'd open that up and, it'd be a tape of Jars of Clay or something. They give it, they'd have people call in and come out to the station.
And they had that huge wall of tapes. And I think later it was CDs. But I remember just going through and looking at them and just being like, holy crap, this is so much mediocre music. It's amazing.
You could go to Cathedral Praise there and watch the Power Team one night. And watch them tear a bunch of phone books in half.
Loved
you guys
it.
remember Power Team?
Dude, blowing
Power
up
Team.
the
Blowing
hot
up the
water
hot water
bottle,
bottles.
breaking
and
some ice or some
help
concrete.
him!
Yeah.
Help him! Breaking shit all night.
Tearing phone books up and shit.
And all those dudes were just juicing and fucking each other, dude. They were pressing those tiny dicks into each other.
Did you say breaking a bike in half? Did you say that?
No.
Because I saw that.
Phone book.
No, this
They
dude
broke a bike?
I believe it. They would just break.
Yeah.
You could hand them shit.
I mean,
and they would break
I'm
it.
sure it's like a David Blaney, Chris Angel kind of thing where they pre-cut it and then like shittily welded it back together.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was a little theater of the mind.
Theater of the
It's
mind.
like,
But
You know,
but
a tear a phone book.
but it's the
you gotta
Holy
bend
Spirit.
The pages.
anybody can tear a phone book.
Yeah.
I've watched the YouTube video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Cathedral Place is also the place that would do like a super realistic around Easter. They would do the Stations of the Cross performance, and it was like
The whip with the ketchup on it.
yeah,
You know?
we're like damn dude.
We talked about that on last week's show that's coming out, the week before this one, oddly enough. But we talked about the Hell House.
Yeah,
Dude. And we went.
I remember going to those.
Yeah, we won't get too deep on it this week, but we talked about it pretty in depth last week. Intense.
Yeah.
To a young mind that is palatable
Horrifying.
and moldable. I think that's the
terrifying.
wrong word, but yeah, it was fucked up, dude, but kind of cool. Like, I remember we talked about last week the kid that like was smoking weed and like blew his brains out. I was like, okay, the first part seemed pretty dope. He's just like listening to
that guy
Rage.
seemed cool,
It
but
went
I didn't know
sideways real quick.
Yeah.
got fucking crazy.
Totally.
I think what it is like maybe the nostalgia, the good feelings about it is essentially it's just mythology. It's just another branch of mythology. It's almost D&D in a way. The whole Christian thing of like, or sci-fi. He's not of this world, but he was sent down in the form of a man. Like it's kind of cool in that way.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I'm into D&D. I'm into, video games and WoW and all that terrible shit.
Yeah.
It's like Bible's the Bible's kind of cool in the mythology way. B, it's also kind of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's pretty metal.
Like isn't there a book in the Bible called like Nahum?
Yeah.
That's a metal. If you wrote that in a spiderweb font,
Dude,
like that's a pretty
almost-
dope ass thing.
Almost
Yeah.
any book of the Bible, you can name a band and it would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
Dude, is there one called Nebuchadnezzar?
No. Nehemiah?
Okay, that's kind of metal. It's like pagan metal.
Hezekiah?
Okay, that's more of like a folk metal, black metal hybrid.
Esther?
Better than? Oh,
Better-
that's
better-
Ezra.
better
oh.
than- Oh, I love that band Better Than Esther. They were
Yeah.
so good.
That
Yeah.
was my great grandma's name, Esther, and I always thought that was like a beautiful and kind of sexy name.
But that's all Old Testament. New Testament shit, it's just
Mark.
It's white people stuff like
fuck
Matthew.
you.
yeah. I remember that way back in the day, 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, they were all named Mark and John and Luke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Chad.
Yeah,
And Brandon.
There were no. Why is there no Muhammad 316?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting racist. We got to wrap up soon.
No.
But before we go, anything else on your mind? I'd love to hear you out, Sean. Anything we need to promote?
Oh, yeah.
Anything we need to
I mean,
touch on?
We've got the show coming up at the Rodeo, the 26th, Friday, 10 p.m. Critters. First Wednesday of the month, every month, we're at the Paramount Theater. Out there's our all ages show. We show stuff that cartoons. It's the Fantasy Rewind show that we do. We show sci-fi, anime, old, monster movies, just kind of.
Yeah.
But all ages, we have kids running up and down. You show a kid a VHS tape. They're always trying to swipe it. They look and
wow.
you hand the kid who's never seen one, and they just kind of, how do you hand them Tarzan and like an old clamshell, and they're like,
Is this Bluetooth?
yeah, how do you turn it on? You're like, no, you open it. And they're like, this piece of plastic. They're like, what do you do with this? And you're like, you put it in the thing.
Yeah, you put it in this clunky machine,
Yeah, this
and
giant
it
machine. It makes all this noise.
it shoots light through it, through some mirrors, and then through a cable. Oddly enough, yeah.
That's so weird. I remember being a kid and like Disney did it right, and maybe that's what it was for, like the tangible part of it. Like, so your regular movies are in cardboard sleeves, but Disney put them in these plastic clamshell, big, oversized.
Can't fit on the shelf.
No,
Yeah.
you can chew on it if you're a baby.
The thing is, sorry to interrupt, but the reason they did that is like you said, they can't fit on the shelf, so you make your own shelf.
Yep.
Or the Disney movies
shelf.
go on their own shelf.
Just Disney movies, yeah.
And they were all, my grandma had a shitload of the old Disney movies on VHS. And that huge white, clunky, plasticky, almost hollow sounding when you open it up.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Yeah, and you get like a Pizza Hut coupon or something.
There
on
you
the
go.
inside.
Yeah, if you find them with those inserts, people love like the coupons or the $10 off Pizza Hut things. Like if those are still in the cases.
And then I was like a couple of years ago, there's this big internet thing of those are worth money. If you have any of them, no, they're not. They're not worth shit.
People to this day ask me. They'll hit me up on my Instagram, my Facebook. Hey, dude, I've got a bunch of Disney tapes. What are these worth? I'm like, how many you got? 20? They're worth $15, $10 bucks.
I don't know.
And they freak out and they're like, no, these are, I saw on the internet. And you're like, no, dude.
That's what you saw it on the internet.
Exactly. And I tell them, I don't deal in Disney. Like people ask me for movies like, hey, I go, I don't peddle Disney. I don't deal in Disney. Like I've got old horror, you know, all kinds of great stuff I find, I collect. If I'm at the thrift stores, I don't even look
now,
at
we'll
the
say
Disney
this.
shelves.
You just glance right past it?
Just right past it.
Strictly for nostalgia's sake, if I could find Aladdin in a clamshell Disney thing, like in mint condition at a thrift store.
I'm about to say, you can find them anywhere,
snag it.
not in mint condition.
I don't know what it is. Going back to Aladdin, I think that might have been my first Disney like thing that I got into. I mean, when you're kids, you see it all the time, like the 101 Dalmatians and all the older shit that whatever. But I think Aladdin might have been the first one that was like, we're gonna start doing movies for kids today, right? Because that's pre-Lion King.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that, there's one place in town. I've gone to the thrift stores, the retail shops, the pawn shops don't carry that stuff anymore. I've narrowed it down to the best place in town to hunt for tapes.
Mm-hmm.
You get fresh tapes hourly. Is the Goodwill Distribution Center on Reno.
Oh, I've been in there. Yeah,
that place every other hour or whatever, they swap out those boxes. And I've talked to the guys that run that place. They throw them away. Like they'll keep the Disney clamshells.
Yeah,
those will go out to the stores. All those classic old ones, old rentals, old horror movies. They recycle them for money. They just trash them. So I go there 3 times a week to swoop in there and dig through the boxes and find, because that's always, I tell people that's your fresh tape source here in the city.
Nice.
That's if you want to find anything. I found 100 beta tapes I bought for $3.50 because they do them by the pound.
Right.
At that place, you get $3.50. I got all these beta tapes. I got laser discs. I got CEDs.
So wait, do you have a beta?
Oh yeah,
beta player.
I found it at the Goodwill. I ended at the Goodwill, and you buy a laser disc, a working laser disc player for $4.
Dude, I remember that was like the biggest fucking thing. I've only seen one once in my not once in my life.
Oh, I've got it.
My best friend growing up, he had one, and we went over to his house and we watched Milo and Otis on Laserdisc.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that looks like a record. What is that?
Giant
like
CD.
Gold?
Giant.
Huge CD.
And I've got the CEDs are
CEDs?
Their CEDs are RCA capacitance. They're movies on vinyl. They're a big vinyl record that plays movies. And I have 3 CED players I found in town.
What?
And it's in a big giant cartridge, like you plug it into the machine and you pull the cartridge out and it keeps.
Like a floppy almost?
Yeah, it keeps the record part in the machine. You just flip a literal big switch to play. Chunk. And it'll play the movie.
Wow.
And
I've never heard of that.
off and you put the cartridge back in, pull it back out, it's got the disc in it.
What's the quality like?
Awful. It's just awful.
Understand.
Like they move around, like your image while you're watching it will just shake and jump and move to the side, and it's the wildest thing.
That's crazy.
I'd never even heard of it till I saw one at a thrift store.
I never heard of it till tonight.
I never heard of it. And I bought those and then went on Facebook Marketplace and dude was selling a CED player, bought that, and found another guy bought that, put them all together, and I've got just stack of these old, and they're gorgeous. They're like big record vinyl, but you know, it's Bekashi's like Lord of the Rings. Like you've got,
nice.
You know, all these old Clint Eastwood movies, like they're great. The artwork, you know, they're all messed up, they're jacked up, they're peeled, they're scratched,
waterlogged.
Yeah, they're and I just, so I find things like that, you know, the old beta tapes, you know, the laser discs, I got 8 tracks all over the place. Like my garage is ridiculous.
Relics from another time.
So, okay, speaking of that, closing question for you, Sean. Prized possession when it comes to this kind of thing. What's your jewel? What's the one thing you'd grab in a fire?
I guess, like I'm a big Blade Runner fan, and I have a bunch of those bootlegs of discs, and I've got Blade Runner 2049 on VHS. A guy made a case, and you know, I just recorded it onto a tape. You know, you tape over the little
Yeah,
thing, so
right.
you can record on an actual movie.
Stuff some paper in it.
you have the better quality.
Yeah.
And it was like a Roseanne tape. So the beginning of the tape, you hear the Roseanne starting music and laugh, but the image
right
is
up your
Blade
alley,
Runner
Rob.
2049. And like if I'm at home and I've got the 4K, Blu-ray Blade Runner 2049, I've got the VHS, and I'm sitting there bored. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this VHS. I'm gonna choose that
because it's
over the one.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and I have Blade Runner, the original on VHS. I'm one of the few guys that will actually like the theatrical version, not the director's cut, the renegade cut, the final cut.
There's a reason they put that one in the theater because it's the best one.
People will fight you over that. I've had people
but it's
bow
true.
up on me.
It's the same with bands and like box sets and B-sides. Like they're B-sides for a reason.
Yeah.
They didn't make the cut.
Yeah. But I love
so
that.
that's the one?
Yeah, I love that
it?
Blade Runner because it's just, and seeing a new movie like all torn up with the little Please Rewind sticker on it, it's just, and I have a whole shelf of those, Rogue One. I got Rogue One on there, just a whole bunch of fun, and I've been making my own now, like music video things.
Yes, you have, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I dig those. I've been digging those. I don't know if you guys heard of a local movie called Pim Pam that came out of comedy film.
I've been seeing a lot about it.
Yeah, I made them a VHS
I have a button,
cover
actually for it.
Yeah, I made them a VHS copy of that.
Awesome.
Put it in like an old RCA kind of style, old art with the red squares around everything, and put that in there. And then you
awesome.
age it and make it look all old.
Dude,
it's just a blast, man.
I'll tell you what. This has been a blast.
This has been an amazing blast.
Sean, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys very much.
And be kind, rewind, and we'll see you next week.
Don't be a dick.
That too.